I'm in my car after seeing Obsession, and I loved it so much. And I think that even though there's a little bit of gore, you're gonna like it too, because it's about a loser who ruins a girl's life about it. And that's very relatable to us all.
Okay, just saw Obsession walking back to my car. Gotta say, I'm sending you my therapy bill for how upsetting this was. Hello, welcome to Medium Literate, the show where two longtime best friends try to improve their media literacy skills by having a long conversation about a new movie in theaters each week. My name is Monika Scott. My co-host is Emily Faye, and we've got a doozy. We're doing Obsession this week by Curry Barker. So I'm going to tell you right up top, we had some issues kind of throughout this whole thing, but the first 30 minutes of Emily's audio aren't quite perfect. So take off your perfectionist goggles and chill out. It gets better 30 minutes in, but yeah, I'm so sorry. we simply had a few technical snafus. If you're listening to the audio of this program, then I just am here to remind you that we do have a YouTube channel where you could see my face saying these words right now. It's Medium Literate on YouTube. And without any further ado, here is a spirited conversation about Obsession. I took a real swing with my outfit today, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm trying something. I went to the vintage store.
Ooh.
Got a little 90s dress that I didn't even wear to the 90s party. Anyway.
Well, I have
Hello. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the vibe is similar because the way I'm shaped is like, I don't know if it's middle age or just my boob size, but it really looks crazy on camera. That's why I'm often wearing something loose, because I'm like, this is a bit.
We're both going pow pow. They're O's for Obsession.
That's what it is, fellas. So hey, hello, welcome.
Hi. This is how we're getting male listeners in.
Yeah, if it works for Sydney Sweeney. She is the audience we want, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we looked at the numbers and we said, okay, I think right-wing, horny, middle America men are our audience that's going untapped here.
Listen, I'm going to push back and say I think there are a lot of men in Orange County, California who also really...
That's true.
Really are into what she's doing. And listen, we didn't mean to start with the Sydney Sweeney hate corner again, but we are not friends with her.
No, she's not our friend.
Okay, so listen, we're doing it. We're talking about Obsession.
We're talking about Obsession, and the one Apple podcast commenter who said they're here for Monica's anti-horror takes is eating good this week because
we are coming at this from different angles. We have different feelings about this movie.
There might be screaming, there might be crying.
I think we should start with the positive. So Emily, what did you think of this movie?
I mean, I loved Obsession. So that's where I'm coming from. So look, the whole podcast is going to be like, I can't even like list my positives because it's, I saw this movie. I ended up seeing it twice. And we're recording this on the Sunday after release.
Yeah, so you saw it, did you see it Thursday and Friday?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily mean to, but I saw it Thursday, so first night, and then I just ended up seeing it with a friend on Friday in Dolby and with like a Q&A at the Grove.
Oh yeah, and that's cool. That sounds. I mean, listen, sound was a major part of this movie, to my dismay, but I think to everyone else's enjoyment.
Yeah, I also it was because it was just so sold out the first night that I had to see it in just like normal format, and
Right.
which I thought would be fine, and I mean it was, but this is such a visually like there's so much. It's such a dark movie in terms of like shadows and almost the whole thing is kind of in darkness that I thought that maybe Dolby would be kind of interesting.
And was it? I have to imagine it was like intense.
I feel like there were some things that I could see better.
Yeah.
Because in Dolby, like true black is more contrasted versus like gray black, where that all kind of blends together more in like normal. And yeah, I feel like this is just such a shadowy movie.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Seeing this movie, I saw this at a different AMC than I normally go to. There's two AMCs near me. Here, not to give you the breakdown of the Chicago suburb AMCs. There's two AMCs that are like kind of equidistant from me. There's one that is like big multiplex in a strip mall, like clearly the anchor of the strip mall. They haven't fixed anything since like 2003. So like
Okay. So no recliners or anything.
there's one theater there are two. There's the Dolby Theater and then one theater with recliners. There's no like half the lights don't work in the hallways when you're walking to the theater. Those signs that say like those little like LED signs that say what movie is playing in what room don't work. So it's just like
every theater now. I'll be curious about your other AMC. No theaters here have that anymore. I think to avoid people theater hopping.
Oh, that's interesting.
So no theater anymore that I have been to in the past few years has what movies playing.
Well, my other AMC is just a newer one. So like the structure is different. It's got the like kind of more, it sucks, but like a more gray hallway with the like LED. The AMCs will sometimes do a thing where it's like an LED strip that goes up the wall, up across the ceiling and down, and it's like a corridor sort of.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, but all the rooms are nicer. The seats are nicer. But here's what I realized. When I saw Hokum, it was just a normal screening, but early in the day. And I felt like the screen was like so dark, but I also noticed while I was watching it that one row of lights in the ceiling were still on, but mostly dim.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, do they always do that? And I'm just noticing. And then I went to this AMC and I was like, no, that other AMC fucking sucks.
Did you accidentally go to a morning like baby friendly screening of Hokum where there were no babies? I mean, I don't know the thing that they do with the lights.
I noticed it also when I saw Exit 8, which is also horror.
Oh.
And I noticed that the lights were like on but really dim in just like one row in the front. And I was like, is this like a theater that has a lot of elderly people? Like I just couldn't figure out why they were doing it.
The person whose job it is to man that one strip of lights doesn't come in till like noon.
In every theater, in every single
That's their
screen.
one job.
Yeah, it's funny. I have no Goldilocks theater near me. Like there's one I like for the vibes. There's one I like because like the big multiplex is often playing the movies I can't see at the other ones. So it's just like that just ends up being the one I have to go to. My favorite is a Landmark theater near us because it used to be an ArcLight and it's just got this like it's just got a like nicer feel. It's in a really weird mall that used to be like an Air Force base. So there's like a weird department store in the old like control tower where like the air traffic control tower. But that Landmark also mainly has old people and families that go there. So the volume is always incredibly low on every movie, and it drives me insane.
Yeah, that would make me feel crazy.
So like you can't see like something that's supposed to be really immersing there. Like you can't see like Dune or something there, because it would be like, okay, why can I barely hear this?
But I also kind of, you know, if there's a movie where there's a lot of just like sort of talking and maybe like not really loud chatter, I imagine that's annoying too, because you're probably like what?
I saw the drama there, and I was like, this is fine for this. Like, I think we saw Hamnet there. Like, there are movies that you can kind of see there that like, you can sort of give or take, right? It's like you're either getting the shitty multiplex or this experience, and so, you know, sometimes it depends on like who's playing what or what we want to eat for dinner before or after. But anyway, all that to say, this was definitely a better like horror viewing experience because they turned off all the fucking lights.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was happening when I saw Hokum. But yes, so I'm here to be the hater of the pod. I hated this movie so much, and I'm going to caveat this with like a million things, because I had never heard of Curry Barker before. Did you have any relationship to who he was?
Not at all.
I think that the like movement that's happening right now with like YouTubers making like studio release pictures or not I mean, even I think like the Markiplier Iron Lung thing is like really cool. Did you follow that at all?
I feel like I've mentioned this before. I could not be less of a YouTube person.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a YouTuber, I don't know him. I've never
spoken from YouTube.
Yeah. Monika handles all the YouTube stuff, by the way. I didn't even know there were like shorts on there. But I've never been a YouTube person. So it's like, I don't know any of these YouTube people. We are in, a weird specific year of like, there's just a lot of YouTubers making specifically horror movies. Yeah. 2 years maybe. And I certainly don't think that's 100% hit rate, but
I think it's a cool door into the industry. And I think because like we are comedy people, right? And there was a few years there where that was the pipeline into comedy. And
and now TikTok is the pipeline into comedy.
Well, you know, comedy is a dying art anyway, but like, I actually think it's really cool and interesting, and I'm always going to be like way more enthusiastic about people who don't have a traditional pipeline into the industry, and so they make their own stuff and get noticed that way. But like the Markiplier thing was really cool because he's like an extremely famous YouTuber, and I like didn't know who he was until he started to become a like TikTok CapCut template. Like I think that is literally how I was introduced to him, was like there's a famous CapCut like green screen template where it's him going like, this right here, this is my favorite thing. There's no thing I like more than this thing, or something like that. And it's like funny, and you put your like, you know, a clip of The Office behind it or whatever stupid or a picture of your cat. But he has been making YouTube videos for so long. He completely self-funded his movie, and his fans called theaters and got it placed. And I just think that's amazing. And I think that Curry Barker, being from Alabama, not having any like entryway into the industry, just making his own stuff and having that be the like how he got in and got to release this movie, and hearing him talk about, you know, I listened to a couple of interviews because I wanted to understand the movie better after I was like, I hate this. So it's like, it's tough. I'm having like a reverse art from artist where I'm like, I really respect what he does and what he's doing, and I think it's really cool. And I from the reaction horror people are having, he did a good job, I think. But I'm not a horror person, but I can like horror. And so to me, if a movie like crashes and burns with me to the degree that this did, could be a sign of its inability to reach crossover success.
See, I'm almost coming from the opposite point of view, because I'm like, I have no, even though, like, I guess theoretically I'm like, yeah, it's cool, people coming from outside, whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I have, like, any more respect for people coming in as a YouTuber. I would say, like, in general, I kind of find YouTubers icky or something.
Careful. Careful, you are currently one again.
I know, okay. But, like, okay. I
like the like language, I think I get what you're meaning, and I'm gonna try and help you, like that the language and fandom and like the sort of like infrastructure, be it language, visuals, whatever, that comes with YouTube is corny. Is that kind of where you're going? Yeah.
Yes. So I would say I'm not opposed to a YouTuber making a movie, but I would say I am coming in pure of heart, because I'm not like a fan of these people. So I'm like, just coming in is just like, oh, I'm excited for this horror movie. And so like I didn't see I think it was Iron Lung. Because it was getting really bad reviews. But
except from his fans who loved it.
Yeah. I had never heard of Curry Barker. I came in, I fucking loved this movie just as a horror movie. I think he might be like new, really good horror director. Like, I think he has a real just eye for it, and like, I like where his brain is at with it. And because I was curious, I actually went back and I didn't watch any of their comedy videos,
stuff.
but I watched the like hour-long horror that he made, Milk and Cereal, just because I was like curious. And that was made for like $800, like on, you know, weekends and stuff. But it doesn't feel like a theater release or anything, but like, it has a really, you can tell that he has a good like grasp on like what makes a horror really work. And like, I thought that was better than something I didn't see in theaters but watched recently because it's on streaming now, and thought was one of the worst fucking things I've ever seen. And I think it's another YouTuber, Shelby Oaks.
That is another
just
YouTuber.
Absolutely nothing. Just god awful. Just awful. And like, so I think I'm not sure why YouTubers all gravitate towards horror. I'm not sure if that's easier to sell or like something, because all you need is like a good hook or tagline. But I think a lot of people think they're going to have this grasp on it, and they don't. And I think that like, it seems like Curry Barker really does. Because like, I thought this movie was like incredible. I thought it was a really good rate of the escalation of horror, which is really important. I thought it was like really unsettling. I thought it was like satisfying. Like, there wasn't, you know, it didn't lean on like things happening just for the sake of being creepy. I feel like you leave and you're like, everything has to do with everything else and has an explanation. I feel like there's a lot of levels to it. I feel like it takes its horror from like a real life thing, but not in a corny way, like in a way that feels very smart to me. I thought the visuals were good. I thought the writing was good. I thought the casting was great. I didn't realize that the friend Ian is his YouTube partner. I didn't realize that until I watched Milk and Cereal.
I found that out after too.
But I liked every, like, I don't know, I loved it. Like, I loved it the second time too. I feel like the second time I actually picked up on way more things, and I feel like I understood it better, which to me is like a really good sign of good writing and story.
Definitely. I mean, I definitely think that's true, and it's a shame I felt none of that, but
I'm curious what, because we haven't talked about this at all, except that I know you
no.
hated it. What
Yeah.
did you hate about it so much?
You know, I hated it because I texted you and said, I saw a lady walk out in the middle of this movie and I was jealous of her.
Which is the opposite of seeing it twice in 2 days.
Well, before I talk about that, I do just want to go back to one thing because I had my phase of YouTuber dabbling with my sketch group that I was in. And I only bring that up because please don't look it up. The sketches, I don't know if they last the test of time. Guess what? I'm the only girl. I play a bitch girlfriend or in every video or a hostage. But those guys, like, Josh, who directed a lot of our sketches, like Josh Wallace, he went on to like make a horror film. He like, and he and Luke Jensen, like they were both really into horror. I think that horror is particularly fun. One, I think that the people who are passionate about it are like fiercely passionate about it and spend a lot of time thinking about what makes one work or not work. And if they are also a filmmaker or they have that interest, I think they're particularly fun puzzles to solve. How do you do this? How do you play with that tension? So I kind of think that's why it happens a lot that a YouTuber, like, because it's someone who wants to play around with the form anyway.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what happens. Now, I also think not every gifted director is a gifted writer. And sometimes that's the problem that they fall into, is like they're trying to write their own stuff and then also, and they could really be a gifted director, but writing is a different skill set.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have it. I don't think I really have it. Like, I just think it depends on the person. But okay, what I didn't like. Cracks knuckles. No, it I would say that when I like a horror movie, I feel like it's because I either had an emotional experience, so I cared about these characters, or it showed me, it made me think about a human problem in a new way or from a new angle. It gave me like, typically like a horror that I really like will give me empathy for like, and just in a sort of like cartoonish, crazy way, but about some issue. And this, to me, how it was hitting me was like that it's kind of playing with the like notion of like incel-y type guy that longs for the girlfriend but can't get her attention. But he wasn't incel-y enough in direct comparison to how shrill and awful she became. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I feel like his worst crime was that he was like too shy, but also I will say I couldn't get my bearings on like how old are these people? They're old enough to drink, but they're getting college acceptance letters.
I
was feeling a little like confused about that.
I think they were 25 because at one point Ian says something about like your 7-year late promposal.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think they were all high school friends. This is a small town. I think that they're 24 or 25, and the art school thing is like a late and young adulthood decision on her part.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's how I was reading it, largely because of the 7 years late promposal thing. I was like, okay, let's do the math here.
I didn't catch that line. So I think it would have actually given me tremendous relief because I was incredibly distracted, but I was like, what age are these people supposed to be?
Yeah.
Because I think that, like, especially in those years of someone's life, it shifts what my expectations of the dynamics are.
Sure.
Yeah. So, like, because I couldn't ever place it, and again, that might be user error if I missed that line, but I just was like, if these are supposed to be like 18-year-olds, it's like not a crime to be that shy. And so his punishment feels exaggerated, right? That he has to die in the end because he's like a little foolish at 18. And those core issues essentially kept me on the hovering above the whole story the whole time. Like I was never in it with them. I was always like, ugh, this is too extreme. Like it immediately started annoying me and I never could hook back in. Like, so then none of it felt earned. Nothing, like her becoming so awful so fast. And I think it was well executed and like really well performed, but really annoying to tolerate.
See, I think that I had a much less generous read on him from the beginning. I didn't like him from the jump. I think that, like, to me, what this movie did so well and how it did take a core human sort of experience and then, you know, bring it into the horror realm was, to me, the evolution of like the nice guy
Sure.
is the malevolent loser. So I think that's become sort of like a real type of guy where they are just almost so obsessed with their wallowing that they're not like good enough that it is actually like this pit of resentment that can bloom into something really ugly towards those around them. But it's ultimately all sort of their fault, where it's like, instead of the idea of like bettering yourself, becoming more confident or funnier or more pleasant to be around or anything like that, they think that, like, especially towards women, they almost think that like their devotion to a woman is enough to make them worthy of her. Like, it's like, I love you so much that should be enough. And they have this idea that like they know her better than anyone else. They see her on a deeper level, but they in fact see her as a person less than the other people around them
Yeah.
because they're idealizing her. Like, he has this idea of her as this like his perfect woman, but he doesn't really see her or care about her. Whereas then I kind of get the idea that her casually hooking up with Ian and it not really being romantic, probably she is willing to hook up with him because he's just like a sort of normal, chill guy who just sees her as like a person instead of
Yeah.
this. So I think that is the type of guy that I do find quite abhorrent. And I think that it sort of cuts that open and then dissects it throughout this movie, because I would say the last moment he's sort of like innocent of a crime is like, I will give him that, like, of course he didn't think that wish was going to work.
Right.
Like, of course his intention in that moment was not. But I bet that if someone had told him, no, the wish will work, I do think he would have done it anyways. Because he is more than willing to accept the wish and everything that comes with it until it starts negatively impacting him. But, like, there is a long period where he knows almost immediately that she is acting this way because of the wish and that it is not within her control, and that like he's forcing that.
Yeah.
And he's perfectly willing to accept it all until it starts being like a problem.
Yeah, because they have a happy relationship for like question mark amount of time.
Yeah, and he knows that whole time.
I think what's interesting is that I agree with your read on that type of guy, and I think that that is interesting space to mine. And I wonder if it's just like parts of our life that we're in that we are our read on that character specifically is so different that like you're in the thick of it. It's still like I'm married and don't care about these guys. I interact with them so infrequently that they become they just become less visible to me, which they hate. They need to be visible to every woman. But because one, I do think the age thing fucked me up too bad, because I agree with everything you're saying unless the person is 18 years old. You know what I mean? If the person's 18 to 20, I'm like, they actually have a few years to figure out these mistakes. And then once they're like past 20, I'm like, buddy, grow up, brother. But because I couldn't figure it out, and again, user error, I think, maybe. But because I couldn't figure it out, like it was interesting that there were not enough signifiers for me to understand or like feel that way. But also, I would push back a little only in that like I think it's okay that this movie is like not necessarily interested in like origin or lore of any of these people. I think that's fine. You can still tell an interesting story that way, and I think it's probably smart for a horror to like not try to, I think Hokum's the like opposite, right? Where they're like, here's everything about this guy's backstory.
Yeah.
So I get why you wouldn't do that. But then, so I'm left with what's on the screen. And what's on the screen is like a parent, a grandparent, someone died. He's alone in the world, from what I can tell. His cat dies in the first 5 minutes of he seemed to have cared for this ailing
grandmother,
guardian of some sort, and then he has their house and all their drugs, but clearly that person was sick because of all the medicine they show, so that is already like horrific. The cat dies in the beginning, so like I am prompted to feel bad for this character, and then he's having trouble expressing himself, and I'm like, is this an 18-year-old that went through something horrible? Is this a 25? I mean, at any age, if you show me those details, I am more likely to give a lot of grace to the behavior, unless it is like on paper truly evil. But if it's just like you can't quite express yourself because you're like a dumb guy, then I don't know. That's why the conceit of the rest of the movie, I'm like, well, his worst crime was making a wish that was stupid and annoying, and I hate the pedestal, putting a girl on a pedestal. I mean, it was I remember that experience. It's a fucking nightmare. Fellas, if you're listening, it's a fucking nightmare when you do this to us. We don't want it. Because you are right. He shows no interest in her interiority at all. He's like, she's perfect because she has a beautiful jawline.
Yeah.
Can drink beer with the guys. Like, I don't really know what's the issue. She's the only character stuff we get of her is like,
oh shit, is my thing recording through my Scarlet or no?
Hey guys, technical issue for a moment.
If I've been sounding really bad, sorry. I'm gonna sound better.
Sorry, it was only
now.
30 minutes. You'll all live, but we are sorry.
Also, we're back.
What was I even saying? I don't know. I just kind of felt bad for the guy, and she's a cool girl, but like in the way a man would write a cool girl. And no one, including the movie, is interested in what she's actually.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we barely are with that character. So it's almost not even like, oh, she's underwritten. It's just like, we're only with that character for a couple of minutes. Like, because the rest of the movie is not her, which is made very clear. I guess with him also, even with the cat, with the grandma, whatever, it's like, it's not even like, oh, he has no one. It's like he does have this core group of friends. He has this girl who is his good friend. He is just so focused on having this other relationship with her.
Yeah.
Which is another it's like, when you have a guy friend and like you can sense that it's like
they know when you're not interested, but like they can't let go of how much they want that. And because they want it, everything has to be weird. You know?
Yeah, or they won't let go of hope or something.
Yeah, like
and
until you're
despite...
like, I am never going to date you. And then they're like, but it's like, and I thought it was weird that he didn't tell anyone about the cat dying because he's so focused on, I'm going to ask Nikki out tonight. And it's like, I don't know. I just thought he was acting weird from the jump. Like,
I also think it was weird deeper in the movie. I mean, as we were getting deeper in the story, and it's like the scene where I can't take someone eating a pet. I know it's a thing that occasionally comes up in horror, and also the show Peep Show had a storyline where he fed the dog to somebody, and I couldn't watch past that episode. I just can't, I don't, that almost makes me throw up to
it's
say
horrifying.
For some reason. But the scene where she feeds him his cat, which also there just are there were inconsistencies with the passing of time that I don't mean to be pedantic about, but it was how long we got a montage of you guys dating for a while, so how long has this dead body been?
Yeah.
I thought maybe you guys had dealt with the dead body, but now I guess not. But she feeds him the cat. He throws up in front of his coworkers. People are like, what's going on? Are you okay? And he's not telling anybody that he's in a frightening abuse situation, which if he is truly acting like he's not understanding what's going on with the wish, this would be understood as abuse, what she's doing.
Right.
Screaming at him in the middle of the night and feeding him his cat.
The first time I saw it, I also had that thought. And then the second time I was reading it as it's because he knows there's something fucked up. He knows
he did something.
He knows he just linked up. But also at that point, he still wants her and this in some capacity. Yeah. And he knows that if he tells everyone this is going on, they're going to be okay, because already the scene in the car with Ian where he's she's clearly going through something. It looks like you're taking advantage. This is a fucked up situation. And, he doesn't even know all the details, but people can tell something fucked up is going on. But he doesn't want people to know that because he still wants to play act that him and Nikki are in this relationship. Because even just to jump ahead, after the party, he's can't you just act like Nikki? He knows. I mean, obviously, he knows long before this, but the most horrifying part is the phone call when he hears Nikki screaming and just hangs up. And that the night after the party when real Nikki comes through and is please kill me. Yeah. And all he can say is would it really be, is it so bad being with me? And she's I've never been with you. And he just walks away.
Yeah. Yes, that is definitely his most evil, obviously evil turn.
And before that, after the party, he he's really shows how upset he is for the first time. Yeah. And the thing he's upset about isn't, oh my God, what have I done to this person that is making them do things like this? When she tries to kill herself the half a second the real Nikki comes through. Yeah. He is literally still self-pitying. He's is this even real? He's do you even, does Nikki even actually love me? What upsets him isn't what he's done to this person that he's always claimed to care about. What upsets him is you don't actually love me. This isn't real. And it's to me, that's part of the malevolent loser is this it's very in conversation with weaponized incompetence because it's this feigned cluelessness. It's this act of cluelessness where you weaponize that to like act like you don't think you're doing anything bad or evil, but you are just like, you are causing harm, but you're like, what? Me? No.
I think you're right. And as you're saying this, it does reframe a lot in the movie for me. Like I intentionally didn't look at any other reviews because I didn't want any other like thoughts coming in. But like that is true. I guess I needed, and I maybe as a representative of the people who like just need a little more to hook into horror. I needed more indications that he was like that earlier. Like I needed more, I needed less his life is very sad and more like the way he thinks is bad. He's selfish and doesn't, and you know, I think that would be it's like a hard needle to thread, and perhaps, you know, perhaps a man will never be able to write that. It's maybe what it is. But I did like, because then if I had like 15% more like incel loser behavior before everything kicks off, or like even just like expression of the ideology or the way he sees the world, if I just had like 15% more of that, then everything else would feel way more earned and I would be in the story a little more.
Right. I guess I also didn't feel so much like, to me, he wasn't necessarily incel vibes.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like he was like, oh, no woman likes me, blah, blah, blah. It's more just like he was just obsessed with this one girl, and he's just like, because, yeah, Sarah liked him. She's a pretty, but he's like idealized this one other girl. So it's like he can't look at like, oh no, some girls like me for some reason. He's just so obsessed with his like self-pity and like feeling like a martyr because he likes this girl. And I don't know, I just didn't like him from the beginning. I don't know if it's because like I thought it was a good choice that his hair was always greasy. It really adds this element of just kind of like, ew. And his face is just always kind of like, which is kind of like, God, get over it. Like, especially in contrast to Ian, who it's like, is not like this perfect, amazing guy, but it's like,
right.
I don't know. He just at least seems sure of himself in a way that, you know, it's some where he's just like, I don't know if Nikki loves me. And it's like, how about you just like be normal, you know? What if you were just normal?
You know, I just think I have grief goggles on a lot. Because I still was thinking like in those beginning scenes, I'm thinking back to like, what was I thinking during that? And all I was thinking was like, oh, that like, oh, is this guy like grieving this relative?
Yeah.
And so that's why he's like being extremely selfish or like seeking comfort in something that doesn't exist or like isn't there for him, or, you know, I don't know. And, you know, I guess the dead relative needed to be there. I guess it didn't, it's funny. This really does feel genuinely, listener, I must have you know for the 20th time, I really feel like this is user error on my part. Because I think I ultimately was reading the whole movie or the whole like introduction of these characters wrong. Like, because if I think back, I'm not, other than living in the house and seeing the drugs, I guess there was nothing communicated specifically about his relationship to that person. But seeing those things, I was like, oh, he must be sad.
I think,
you know,
I think
I
that
need to talk to my therapist about maybe.
hackles were raised the moment he was on the phone with Nikki and didn't mention the cat.
Yeah.
Just because I found that to be such odd behavior that like I feel like from that moment I was like, there's something weird with this guy. Like he's I there's something very strange going on here.
I will say also that this movie continued to have the issue that I tend to have, which is like in a horror movie, it's just it feels really, really hard to thread the needle between like communicating like you're in an after school special and talking like how friends talk to each other. Because it was like any scene where anyone had to say anything serious, it was like, she's like, I got the letter from the college. Like
Yeah.
all that stuff was like, this is not how people or behave. And I get why those things move it forward. You know what this actually made me appreciate even more was forbidden fruits.
Okay.
Everyone, I think back to Forbidden Fruits and like of all the horror movies we've watched so far, like that is the one where like they talked like people I would recognize.
Yeah.
And it was heightened, but it was like, it felt real. Like it felt like how girls I know talk.
Yeah. Which is interesting because I feel like that was a campy movie and this is not a campy movie. I know what you mean about like the college acceptance letters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I felt like in general, I thought it was pretty realistic how sort of like messy this friend group was. Where it's like, oh yeah, you know, they were hooking up. And then even like Sarah being like, because she likes Bear, being pretty unfairly like, yeah, I don't know, she's going through it, but it's really not fair to you. Like, that kind of shit. Like, it felt realistic to me in that way where they're 24, 25. They've been friends since high school. They're a little toxic, a little messy, probably like, it's not the healthiest thing for your core friend, your only friends, to be the people you were friends with in high school.
You work at a music store with was what I was thinking.
Which also the most unrealistic part was that many employees being in like a small town music store every day.
I thought that too. I was like, I have never been in a music store where it wasn't like an old guy with a low ponytail and a young guy with a low ponytail.
I'm like, how is Andy Richter paying all these people every day?
Yeah, truly. And also, frankly,
way.
never been in a music store where one woman worked, let alone two.
I did like those shirts.
I did too. They were made of a good material.
Yeah, sort of like a waffle. They were cool.
Yeah, and also like a music store. I've never seen a music store where there's a uniform. Never seen that before.
No.
If it's famously kind of a, you know, crusty band t-shirt
It had
sort of
a cool, I
job.
feel like the uniform plus it has sort of a cool like vintage vibe to the whole music store element of it. But seems like a really chill job. It seems like they didn't have to do much. Mostly got to hang out with their friends. But no,
my high school boyfriend worked at a music store like that, and I will say it seemed like a chill job.
Nice.
It seemed like he never had to do anything ever.
What did you think of like the scares?
I'm probably the wrong person to evaluate, but I am here on this podcast doing this. But I think that they were effective in being scary, but because my feeling watching the movie was that none of the character stuff was earned, I was only annoyed. Like, I wasn't scared because I wasn't worried about anybody. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Was kind of my attitude. And so the loudness of the scares really was annoying me. I literally had my fingers in my ears for 1 hour of this movie. Like, I just left my fingers in my ears because I was like, I don't want it. But I did think they were scary. I thought, you know, Indy Navarrete, I think is how she says her name. Really good performance.
She was like excellent.
Incredible.
Like, she was doing amazing things with her like face and body.
Yeah, and the way that she would have to express for like half a second with her eyes that she's a prisoner in her body, but that her body was moving out of her control. And I did find it amazing that like her skills, and I wish her a very long and fruitful career. I truly wish that for everyone in the movie and involved. Like, I thought really well done, really scary scares. Some felt a little obvious, you know, the scene where she ends up killing that girl was like, yeah, no shit, you're showing most of the screen is empty window, so But that is like a
That scene
they're playing
did get
with the
me though.
tension.
I did go.
I mean, did I think she was going to do that? I don't know. I
That's
just
the thing.
knew
It's like
something was going to come.
something's gonna happen, and then that's just so like abrupt and like violent. And it's the first like kill. It's a real escalation.
It's an extreme escalation. And another thing I thought was cool about Indy Navarrete's performance is that she was willing to be incredibly gross.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool when an actress, I think this is specifically something I think about actresses, like when they're willing to kind of like, there's no vanity about it. They are just being really gross and unlikable and nasty. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool to watch.
I mean, she was able to do like, she has a very elastic face, which you like kind of wouldn't guess from how sort of like pretty and delicate her features are. But there were so many scenes where she was doing things with her face that like were really scary because they were really uncanny. Like when she's in the corner crying, and you're just it's all sort of in shadow, but she's just sobbing in the corner. Like her face looks almost inhuman. It's really scary. The frown at the party, which did get a big laugh, but also
really
is
funny.
like it was. And then I mean the quite horrifying scene where she has been waiting for him all day and is covered in every bodily fluid and solid known to man. But the squelching sound was
tough.
Great.
Tough stuff. I really did not enjoy that.
I was like, they really went for a squelch.
I mean, all that stuff that I don't personally enjoy, but I was thinking like, I felt myself thinking while watching like, oh, this director is like very much going for a lot of stuff with his like first feature. Like, he's taking solid swings and I think landing them. And I just don't like, don't like when they land on me.
You're like, no,
no, thank you. This is not an experience I want.
I feel like the second watch, the biggest thing I was able to pick up on way more because like, I was less focused on like what's coming, where is this going, was because it is a mystery what this sort of entity is, what the function is behind the wish. But the second watch, I was picking up so much more on all of the mimicry and of whatever this entity is, how during that first conversation, like at the car, whatever this thing is in Nikki's body really just seems to not actually it's like a little full born who doesn't know how to walk yet and is like trying to find its footing with the like figuring out how a person talks with the like, I just lost my cat. Oh no, you just lost your cat. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry. And then later,
that's interesting.
When she has vomited and shit herself and pissed herself and everything, and she's like, I ate a bug. No, I had a stomach bug. Like, there's so much that's not quite right. And then in the end, then this entity seems to reach this point of frustration when she's like, I can't be Nikki, and then is like, I can be Nikki, and then in the end trying to be Sarah, like,
right,
there's
right.
yeah
that is really cool. I also think that like, as you were talking about this, I was wondering if there will be more movies in this universe. I feel like almost certainly yes, due to the success of this movie.
Yeah, there's so many things that could be done with it.
I think it would be really cool because, like, I think something that would have made me like this movie more is if I got more lore on the weird thing. Because I like, I as much as I try not to be, I'm kind of can enjoy some nerdy things and a deep lore on a spooky toy.
No, I mean,
Sounds right up my alley.
I love lore. That's one of my favorite things about horror movies. So like after this movie, I was like, oh, I kind of wish there was more lore. But then I was like, you know what? That's like not what this movie was though, because part of it is like he knows he made a wish, but it's like it's not. How would he know the mechanics of it without it being like shoehorned in? But I do hope that they do something from the other side where we do learn more about the lore, because that is really interesting. And during the Q&A,
from the perspective of the guy who
the customer service agent. It's like who is that? What is that? And then it's also like where is I mean, it was kind of confirmed during the Q&A, because I was like, okay, is this basically, did they take the concept of the sunken place from Get Out? And during the Q&A, they kind of confirmed that, where they literally were like, yeah, she's like basically in the sunken place and is like a passenger and can see everything that's happening, which is also why at the end it's so horrifying. She knows everything her body has done. But Curry Barker also kind of said that he doesn't necessarily think that like the vehicle through which you make a wish has to be cursed, or like that innately has to be cursed. Maybe it was the other guy who said it. One of them said it, but it's the wish itself that he makes that like that could never not be cursed, because you're forcing a person to be and do something.
Right.
Whereas
to feel something.
Whereas like the
$1
billion one like might have worked out, but to fundamentally alter another human being and put them under, the control of not them, so to take them away from themselves, how could that ever end well?
Yeah, definitely. Did he talk at all about how it was the idea was from this Monkey Paw Simpsons episode?
No, but that's funny.
Because I mean the story is like hundreds of years
old story.
But but I think it's funny that they're like every generation sort of like takes it one more step removed.
Yeah, the monkey paw, it's like there's just kind of endless possibilities of things you can do with that. And I did like the scene where he goes back into the crystal shop, because that was genuinely creepy for a moment. Like, when he's like, "What the fuck is a one-wish willow?" You're like, and then it's a joke or whatever. But my first viewing, something that I found to be a weird reaction was there were two separate couples coming out of the theater who were annoyed at how often people were laughing. And I had only noticed people laughing at the lines that were clearly jokes and laugh lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, I do think people are like taking it too far when like I've seen a couple of people only be like it's essentially a dark comedy, and it's like, no, it's not. It's a pretty disturbing horror
dark movie.
Yeah, that just has some jokes in it as life, as if also it's like people are laughing. Couldn't they just let it be a horror movie? And it's like, these were purposely jokes. This guy comes from like a comedy video background, but also it's like as if horror and comedy aren't two sides of the same coin, where it's like a situation escalating it to absurd degrees, and in one situation the absurd degree is like funny, and in the other it's horrifying. But it's like, I don't know, I don't think I just thought it was a weird thing to be annoyed by, when it's like, okay, but the things people were laughing at were like jokes. Clearly jokes.
So yeah, that's so funny. I mean, there were like 10 people in my theater, so there was really, well, nine.
A different experience. Both times I saw
Nine
it, was
by the end.
completely oh, that's so fucking weird. I think it's, horror movies are typically like about something, and this one is about the idea of autonomy and consent, and these loser guys who think they're not doing anything bad, but they also kind of know they can't tell anyone. That's the thing. If he told anyone about like the wish earlier, they would be like, "Oh, so you're raping her. You are raping her and keeping her as like a sex slave and a prisoner essentially, and you're the one who put her in the prison."
Yeah, it's like I did find the sex scene the most disturbing, maybe.
I think
really
it was
upsetting.
Like, I think it was kind of supposed to be like.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the "please kill me," but
and it, the whole movie does, like, certainly the main character feels quite self-conscious, because there's a one part when they first kiss where he's like, "You made me feel like I was doing something bad." Or something you didn't want. I can't remember how he phrased it, but I remember noting that was how he said it. That it was like, you made me feel like I was doing something you didn't want. Mm-hmm. And then she's just like not participating in the sex scene, really. She's just sort of present.
Yeah.
And then the character later in the movie saying like, that this is a bad look. Like talking about the optics of the relationship. It just seemed like it had all that stuff on its mind. And I wish it worked better for me, because I like exploring, like I like media that explores that like challenging stuff. But I'm glad it worked for, 99% of the people who saw it.
Yeah. It's just like the way that, because of course she's acting abusive and horrible and crazy, but it's like, that's not Nikki. That's like a demon that he was perfectly content to act like was Nikki.
Yeah.
Until it didn't benefit him anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so selfish, and he just wants what he wants, and despite all his like, "Oh, I'm just so shy, I'm not good enough, I'm blah blah blah," he still thinks he's entitled to these things.
Yeah. And definitely as you're saying it, I do see it. I think I am interested, and I don't know if I've seen anything really explore it, but I am interested in like the tension between men who are just shy versus this type of thing. Like, I do think there is an interesting tension there to explore, because I don't think it's a crime to be shy. And I think about those, I don't know, I just think there's something interesting there between like men who are just shy and don't know how to express this type of stuff, because I think there are just as many women who are shy in that way, but it is culturally more acceptable for women to be that way. And I don't know. Yeah, I would be interested in something that explored that more deeply, but that's not what this movie did. Did you know that he's doing Texas Chainsaw, I think is his next thing? So the boy's got a promising future.
He does. And then apparently his next horror movie's already been shot. And
I heard that.
It's him and the
comedy partner, right?
Ian. And who I think his name is Cooper Tomlinson, maybe. And then it's like I forget who, but it's like two more famous people in like supporting roles.
Oh yeah, it's Aaron Paul and someone else.
Yeah.
I think that'll be cool. And I'm, I don't have much more to say about this movie, but I do just again want to say that I really am looking forward to his career, and I think it's cool. Like, it reminds me of like what excites me so much about Matt Johnson, kind of outside of just he is a hot man. But he did the same, he did the same or similar, like where I just think it's so cool when people make their own stuff. And I'm always going to respect that a little more than I think having the traditional pathway in. Not that there's anything wrong with like graduating from USC film school or whatever and, you know, meeting a producer's kid and then getting a job that way. That's fine too. But I really do think it's cool that he found this side door.
Yeah, and
that was just as much work.
This was also a really low budget movie. Like I think it was between $700K and $1 million, and
that's great.
During the Q&A, he was saying how like the car that they did the head smash scene in, that was like a rental car, and like somehow the plastic, they were supposed to put plastic under the seats and that got forgotten somehow. So there was fake blood all over the car. And the guy who played Ian was a producer on it. And he was doing like all sorts of just like he was like on his hands and knees, like cleaning the blood out of the car so they could return it to the rental place. And
I love that.
I know. And it's like interesting because it's like, I was so impressed by Undertone being so low budget, but I'm like, this wasn't that much higher budget, and I'm way more impressed by this one.
Yeah, and Undertone really didn't show you anything. I mean, this definitely showed you stuff.
This one feels like a real... I would believe it was such a higher budget.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would too.
I think he's really talented. Also, I feel like it's sort of promising for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, just the shot of like Sarah, you know, sort of splayed out. Something that does always get me, that I kind of think is like, you know, grotesque in a way that I do enjoy in horror, is a regular house being sort of slowly but surely turned into like a house of horrors.
Yeah.
Where you look at it from the beginning to the end and it's just like a normal house that's just been turned into this like depraved, fucked up, just like hell. And it really did that.
Yeah.
Where like by those last scenes visually I thought were cool. Where, you know,
very upsetting.
I mean, also like honestly, I get that he wanted to try things, but like the good and noble thing of him to do would have been to kill himself much quicker.
Yeah,
you know, like that at when he learned that was what would end this.
Yeah.
That is the only, he had a moral obligation to kill himself.
Well, you know, stages of grief, it takes you a while to get there.
Yes, that's true. But like when he heard the Nikki screams and just hung up.
Horrible.
And went along his merry way. It's like, you are happy to ignore suffering as long as it benefits you.
Yeah.
Which that's actually, I think that's another aspect. Aside from just the malevolent loser archetype, I think one of the scariest things about men in general is how much sometimes you're faced with the fact that if given the chance, most of them, a lot of them, I'll scale it back to a lot of them, would do horrific things. Yeah. And a lot of them, the only thing stopping them is like, the chance is just not presented to them. But like, I think more atrocities are crimes of like opportunity than we would like to think.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm well aware of that due to my day job in true crime. And listening to hours of investigators talk about this, that is very true. That like a lot of the, I mean, we don't need to go into it. A lot of the horrible crimes are crimes of opportunity that have been presented. And yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. And I mean, the fact that for Nikki, like another level of like this absolutely like horrifying hell that she's found herself in is like her having to process that somebody she trusted and cared about is the one doing this to her. Like, yeah.
I would love to have been able to experience that more in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I get that I don't really see where there's room to have, but I would have liked it.
Sure. It's like, in a way, it's like what you can imagine is like almost more horrifying than like if they, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. And I loved all the shots of like her just completely in shadow and all you can see is a glare on her eyeball.
Yeah.
Very scary and very in line with the like, who is this? What is this?
Also
of it all.
A smart way to make someone who is beautiful and so therefore looks approachable, looks like, you feel positive feelings when you're looking at someone so beautiful. It's like a smart way to make that person scary.
Yeah, totally.
Because otherwise it's like kind of hard. She looks nice.
Those shots were very scary.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I loved this movie. I think he is a very exciting new voice in horror, as they say.
I do think he probably is, and I am happy for him. And I can't wait to see the one that he's in, because I also I find him very charismatic and like...
And very striking looking.
Yeah, blonde eyebrows on a guy is so funny every time. Sorry to the blonde eyebrowed guys out there.
The end was, I thought it stuck the landing and how just like bleak the ending was.
Yeah. I mean, it is, by the ending, it's like, I was asking myself, what do I want to happen? I don't really know. Like, she has now committed multiple murders.
Yeah.
So she's kind of fucked either way.
That's the thing. It's like she's freed, but it's like she probably wishes she was dead, because it's like, now what? She's gonna just go to jail forever for the murder of her best friends? Like,
yeah. So I don't know. It was a good ending. I thought it was bleak and stuck the landing. And I think ultimately, maybe the entire movie was just too subtle for me, someone who is stupid.
I also, it sounds like you were just having an unpleasant time the whole time.
Yeah.
And so maybe you were distracted by that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I just do think it's stupid for me to try to evaluate like a horror movie, knowing I don't like, but I have liked enough of them that we've watched.
I feel like, is this the first one that you have like hated that we've covered?
Yeah, it's outside of maybe like Ready or Not, which I just didn't do.
Right. Yeah. And I would almost call that more of like a thriller than like a horror, where this is like a true horror.
Yeah, but yeah, this one I actively hated. I would have given it half a star on Letterboxd, but I didn't, because I didn't want to bring its average down, because again, I do believe this is all user error. I think that it's good for people who it's good for, which seems to be everybody who sought it out. Because I've not talked to one person who was in line with me at all. Now, Alex would have hated it, but he didn't go with me because he knew that about himself. Okay. Well, anything else? Any more shit you got to get off before?
No, I just loved it. I would see it. I would see it again.
Time?
I would see it again.
I don't understand. Don't understand wanting to see it again, but bless to you. So next week, I believe we're doing I Love Boosters.
Yeah.
And I can't wait.
Yeah, no, that'll be fun. So
that'll be much more my shit.
We will see you then.
Bye.
Bye. That was our episode on Obsession. If you pushed through my bad audio in the beginning, thank you. And I hope you were happy with that decision. Formal apology to Monika for making her watch this movie that she hated so much. But I personally, again, cannot recommend it enough. You can follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. You can rate and review on Apple Podcasts. And most of all, you can directly tell a friend you like this podcast and even text them a link so that perhaps we may be in their ears as well. So thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week with I Love Boosters, and we will see you then. Bye.
Medium Literate was created and produced by Monika Scott and Emily Faye. Our theme music was composed by Christian Larson, and technical help is from Alex Luchin. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you at the movies.